Welcome to Notebook Nuggets.
Great to be diving in.
Today we're digging into the daily entrepreneur, 33 success habits for small business owners, freelancers, and aspiring 9-to-5 escape artists by S.J. Scott and Rebecca Livermore.
Yeah, really practical book.
We know you're keen to understand what really drives entrepreneurial success, maybe benchmark your own journey, or just find some solid strategies.
Right.
So our mission today is basically to pull out those key nuggets, the actionable stuff, things about overcoming hurdles, productivity, competition, relationships, avoiding burnout.
All the big ones. And the authors really ground it in habits.
Exactly. So where do they suggest starting? What's habit number one, essentially?
Well, maybe not number one in the book, but fundamentally, it's about understanding market need, like really understanding it.
Oh, okay. So not just, I have a cool idea.
No, definitely not just that. Passion is important, but they stress you've got to find out if people actually want or need what you're thinking of offering. Is there real demand?
And how do they suggest finding that out? Any specific methods?
They mention a few things, like using tools, Bosumo, for instance, but not just to see what's popular.
Right. More like what problems keep popping up.
Exactly. What are the gaps? What frustrations are people constantly talking about in your niche? That's where the opportunities might be.
Okay, that makes sense. Looking for the friction points. They mentioned another site too, didn't they? Coat.com.
Yeah, Coat.com. For seeing the kinds of questions people are actually asking. They used a philosophy example, like seeing lots of questions about ethics in tech.
And that could spark an idea for, say, a consultancy or maybe some content.
Precisely. It's about listening to the specific problems being voiced. But it's not all online tools.
No.
They really emphasize just talking to people, one-on-one conversations with potential customers.
Just asking them.
Yeah, really digging into their challenges. What would make their life easier?
Mm-hmm.
You get insights there you just can't get from keyword research.
That direct feedback loop.
Yeah.
And testing things out too, I think they mentioned.
Absolutely. Test everything, even if your audience is small. Simple things.
Like email subject lines.
Yeah.
Or pricing.
Exactly. Try different approaches, see what lands. It's about constantly getting that real world data to guide you, not just guessing.
So less guesswork, more validation. Okay. Now, feedback isn't always positive, right? What about failure or criticism? That's a tough one for entrepreneurs.
Oh, yeah. It's huge. And they tackle it head on. Their perspective is basically, failure isn't the end. It's a learning opportunity. Essential, even.
Like that Henry Ford quote, failure is just the chance to begin again, but smarter.
That's the spirit. Or Edison, with the light bulb, not thousands of failures.
But thousands of ways that didn't work.
Right. It reframes the whole experience. It builds resilience, which you absolutely need.
But criticism still stings, doesn't it?
It does. But they suggest viewing it as feedback. They share an example. I think it was Steve, one of the authors, getting negative book reviews. Yeah. But instead of just getting defensive, he apparently used that feedback, found patterns in it. Like maybe he needed to get to the point quicker in his writing.
Okay, so extracting the useful bits, even if the delivery isn't great.
Exactly. And they encourage trying new things regularly, like every week, even if it seems like a long shot.
Fostering experimentation.
Yeah. And learning from others too. Networking with other entrepreneurs, hearing how they handled setbacks. It's all part of building that muscle.
And they even suggest affirmations, like the Edison one.
Mm-hmm. I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. Just repeating things like that can help build that mental toughness over time.
Right. Reprogramming your response. Okay. So from dealing with setbacks, what about finding unexpected positives, hidden opportunities?
That's another key theme. Turning changes, even disasters sometimes, into something advantageous.
How does that work in practice?
They tell a story about an entrepreneur, Dave. His income took a hit because Amazon changed its payment system.
That sounds stressful.
Totally. But instead of folding, he figured out a new way to make things work. And then he even created a course teaching other people how he did it. Found a whole new opportunity.
Wow. Okay, so it's about being agile, able to pivot.
Definitely. And having contingency plans helps, like Steve's strategy. Saving some royalties, reinvesting in side projects.
Yeah, having a plan B or C, basically.
Yeah, so if the main thing gets disrupted, you're not completely stuck. It's about building in that resilience financially and strategically.
Proactive resilience. I like that. And this proactive approach seems to tie into how they talk about customers too, right? Providing value.
Absolutely. Going the extra mile. There's this great little story about a guy, Jim, at a Mexican restaurant.
Oh, yeah. What happened?
He forgot his wallet, couldn't pay.
Yeah.
But the restaurant owner just said, don't worry about it, pay me next time. Offered him the meal free.
Seriously?
Yeah. And guess what? Jim became a super loyal, regular customer after that. That small act of generosity created a huge amount of goodwill.
That's powerful. It's not always about the immediate transaction.
Not at all. And the book suggests being proactive here. Like Steve adding more content to his books without hiking the price, is giving more value.
Or looking at competitors and thinking, how can I do something better or different?
Right. Like maybe throwing in a free audiobook with the print version. Something unexpected that delights the customer. Always exceeding expectations.
Okay, exceeding expectations, finding opportunities, all takes time and energy. What about managing that? Productivity comes up a lot.
It does. Habit 17 is specifically about maximizing dead time.
Dead time, like waiting in line, commuting.
Exactly. Those moments we usually just waste scrolling or staring out the window.
Yeah.
They suggest turning that into learning time.
How? Like listening to stuff.
Yeah. Educational audiobooks, podcasts while you're driving, on a plane, whatever. Using those passive moments actively.
Or even just using quiet moments for thinking or relaxing. Does that count?
Definitely. They mentioned that too. Quiet time for focused thought or just decompression can actually make you more productive overall. It's not just about cramming more stuff in.
So be intentional about those moments. What are the steps?
First, just notice it. Make a list of when your dead time usually happens. Then plan for it.
Like download podcasts beforehand. Have apps ready.
Right. Set a goal. Maybe I listened to one audiobook this week during my commute. Make it concrete.
Turning wasted minutes into learning minutes. That connects pretty directly to their reading habit suggestion, doesn't it?
It does. Habit 18. Read for 30 minutes every day.
30 minutes doesn't sound like that much, but does it add up?
They break it down. Even at average reading speeds, 30 minutes a day easily gets you through about a book a week.
A book a week? Wow, okay.
And if you really don't like reading physical books,
Audiobooks again.
Exactly. They're big advocates for audiobooks as a totally valid way to consume information and gain new perspectives.
So the advice is commit to the daily time. Keep reading material handy, physical or digital.
And importantly, don't only read stuff in your own market or industry. Branch out. Get different viewpoints.
Avoid the echo chamber. Good point. And maybe read a few books on the same topic for deeper understanding.
Yeah, they suggest that too. Really immerse yourself if you want to master an area. It's all about that continuous learning mindset.
Learning is great, but business is also about people. What about relationships and communication?
Crucial. Habit 25 is about learning to speak persuasively. Even if you think, oh, I'm not a salesperson.
Because as an entrepreneur, you kind of always are, right? Selling your vision, your ideas.
You're always persuading someone. Investors, customers, partners, your team. So knowing how to communicate effectively is key.
How do they suggest improving that?
Practical stuff. Go to networking events just to practice talking about what you do. Join Toastmasters or a public speaking class.
Get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Pretty much. Seek out chances, like maybe getting interviewed on a podcast, and definitely craft a solid elevator pitch.
Being able to explain what you do quickly and clearly makes sense. What about the other side of communication? Listening.
Just as important, if not more so. Habit 26 is all about knowing how to listen, especially to customers.
How do you practice listening?
Well, actively seek feedback first. Use surveys, ask for reviews, don't wait for people to complain, and then in conversations.
Pay attention.
Yeah, but actively. Give responsive feedback, eye contact, nodding, show you're engaged. Don't just wait for your turn to talk.
Mm-hmm. So it's about demonstrating you're hearing them.
Right. They even suggest an exercise. Listen to like a short podcast clip, then try to summarize the main points accurately. It tests your comprehension.
Interesting exercise. Okay, these are great skills, but entrepreneurship, it can be intense. Stress, burnout, they talk about that.
They do. Habit 30 covers managing stress, specifically mentioning meditation and journaling.
Meditation. Is that practical for busy entrepreneurs?
They argue it is. Even short sessions can help reboot the brain, reduce stress, increase focus, maybe even boost creativity. Lots of benefits.
And journaling. Just writing thoughts down.
Yeah, processing ideas, emotions. They mention one specific technique. Dividing a page, writing down things you like about yourself on one side, things you love on the other.
Oh, interesting. Like a structured self-appreciation exercise.
Kind of. A tool for self-awareness and building positivity. The main thing is consistency.
Just do it every day.
Yeah, commit to it. Even 5 or 10 minutes to start. Find a journal type you like. Find a quiet time. Make it a habit.
Taking care of your own well-being first, that's essential. Does helping others fit in here somehow?
It does, actually. Habit 32 is about the power of helping others. It's kind of reciprocal.
How so? What are the benefits for the entrepreneur?
Things like improving your own social skills, feeling less stressed or depressed, gaining new perspectives, even boosting your self-confidence. Giving back feels good, basically.
And how do they suggest incorporating that?
Could be dedicating one day a week to helping others, small gestures, volunteering, or even simpler, making a daily habit of helping one person close to you. It builds connection.
All right, strengthening your network and community. Okay, last big one. That feeling, imposter syndrome, do they address that?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Habit 33, believing yourself. They tackle imposter syndrome directly. That feeling that you're a fraud, even when you're successful.
It's so common. Do they offer ways to fight it?
They touch on different types, the perfectionist, the superhero type, but the main advice is about your environment.
Meaning?
Surround yourself with supportive people who genuinely believe in you and offer encouragement. Cut out the negativity where you can.
Choose your circle wisely.
Exactly. And practical steps too. Keep a file, maybe digitally, of positive feedback you've received. Compliments, testimonials. Look at it when doubt creeps in.
A win file. I like that.
And crucially, focus on your own growth. Compare yourself today to yourself last year, not to someone else's curated highlight reel online.
Measure your own progress. That's much healthier.
For sure. So yeah, pulling it all together, the Daily Entrepreneur offers this really well-rounded set of habits. It's not just about business tactics. It's about mindset, well-being, relationships.
It really is a holistic view. Lots of practical, actionable advice packed in there.
Definitely designed to be put into practice.
So hopefully this deep dive has sparked some ideas, maybe an aha moment or two for everyone listening. What habit stood out most to you, perhaps? What feels like something you could start working on?
Yeah, think about that. Maybe just pick one. Which habit, if you started doing it consistently, could make the biggest difference for you right now?
We really encourage you to explore these ideas more, maybe grab the book itself. Continuous learning, deliberate action, that seems to be the core message.
Couldn't agree more.
And if you found this valuable, please do like, comment, share it with someone else who might benefit, and subscribe for more deep dives. Thanks for joining us on Notebook Nuggets.